Kia ora. In today's headlines, South Auckland Police have reported developments in the Rae Portman case. It has been confirmed at this morning's press conference in Manukau that they believe the body found in Ardmore yesterday is that of the missing woman. A man is already in custody on kidnapping charges and more charges may follow. Another government department is under scrutiny over a privacy breach. Inland Revenue is apologising after the personal details of almost 30 taxpayers were mistakenly sent to a third party last week. Our spokeswoman says an internal investigation shows the incident may have been caused by a manual handling error. Revenue Minister Peter Dunn says staff have asked the unintended recipients to return the material and apologise to those whose privacy was breached.
I've asked for a full explanation as to whether this is an error or whether it's a systems failure and what steps we can take to prevent this occurring in the future.
The outgoing chief of the Serious Fraud Office says corporate crime is rife in this country. Adam Feely says people may be tired of finance company court cases, but believes the criminal sentences are a warning to directors in all business sectors. Government authorities are working to stop illegal exports of infant formula. Customs and the Ministry of Primary Industries have noticed an increase in unlawful exports of infant formula, particularly in Asia. Investigators estimate the trade is worth over $150 million and have sent letters outlining the law to wholesalers, supermarkets and exporters. Authorities assume it has nothing to do with the safety of our infant formula. Auckland and Tauranga port companies are joining forces. They have launched a single container management portal, Port Connect, to shave costs and increase supply chain efficiency. However, databases will remain confidential and transactions will continue to occur directly between the user and the port. This weekend marks the beginning of the end of analogue television. New Zealand will be going digital region by region starting this Sunday in Hawke's Bay and the West Coast. Although old TV sets do work with Freeview or Sky decoders, the digital crossover appears to have generated a lot of e-waste. That's something the government is trying to cut down on with a new recycling facility. $110,000 worth of gear has been installed at a Glenfield plant in Auckland, which Environment Minister Amy Adams says is one of several e-waste initiatives on the go.
I imagine that our biggest problem now is how we get rid of all this technology that we couldn't even dream we would have had a few years ago. Our most pressing waste issues is around what we call e-waste, electronic gear, TVs, computers and the like, but particularly at the moment we know that there's going to be this big upsurge in the number of TVs that need to be disposed of, and we don't want to see them going straight into landfills. There's a lot of nasties in them, and actually a lot of stuff that can be really usefully recycled.
A call for hunting fatalities to be considered as manslaughter have led to comparisons with driving legislation. A defence lawyer says while a car and a gun can be used as legal weapons, someone who causes death using a vehicle faces a variety of charges. Roger Laybourne adds hunters are likely to strenuously challenge a manslaughter charge, causing further distress for victims' families. To international news, the filmmaker believed to be responsible for the Innocence of Muslims video has been arrested in Los Angeles. It's believed that by making the movie, Nicola Vesely Nicola breached the terms of his prison probation, which prohibited him from using computers or the internet for 5 years. Hundreds of students are occupying 32 secondary schools in downtown Buenos Aires, and that's affecting thousands more students. One group of about 100 was protesting proposed changes to school curricula at technical institutes and high schools, which they say would eliminate the evening session. The protests come ahead of the weekend's home game between Argentina's Pumas and the All Blacks. Sudan and South Sudan have signed agreements to demilitarise their border and resume the transport of southern oil through the north. The agreements do not deal with the oil-producing Abyei region and several other disputed border regions. Syrian rebel commanders says the northern flashpoint city of Aleppo will be theirs tonight, or they'll be defeated. It follows a meeting of Syrian opposition forces on Wednesday to discuss a democratic and peaceful way out of the crisis, with international representatives from Russia, Egypt, Iran and China present at the conference. Earlier this week, the building of the General Staff of the Syrian Army was damaged in an attack that killed 4 security guards and injured 14 people. And yesterday, more than 300 people were killed nationwide in what the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said was the most violent day of the 18-month conflict. And before we go, news that an old bird has taken to the skies again. The flight yesterday of a restored World War II fighter plane is said to be of international significance in the aviation industry. The de Havilland Mosquito was one of the fastest aircraft of its time, with an innovative wooden design, and Auckland enthusiast Reverend Richard Waugh says it is flown by many Kiwi pilots in combat.
There will even be some pilots there at the air show tomorrow at Ardmore to see this Mosquito take off, who actually did fly them in the 1940s.
Ka nui ngā karare matua mai I te whare korero o rima, Mō Riora.